Hi, this is Steve with the Triangle 5-1 wrench. In this video series, I've been discussing pressure and release. In part 1, I said we'd be looking at the various aids and how to apply them using pressure and release. I'm taking a rabbit trail in this video and looking at how pressure and release is used to desensitize a horse, which in the old days was called sacking out. This can be viewed as controlling a horse's fear response by teaching it how to remain calm. It can also be viewed as building a level of trust between the human and the horse. Either view is good, but it is accomplished through pressure and release. I'll be using Ember, who is a 2-year-old, this coming spring. You've seen her in a number of my previous videos. She has been through these exercises before and is reasonably calm. I don't want to scare the horse with these exercises. I want to build their confidence, so I start with what I know they can handle. A warning: if you should try some of these exercises, be careful not to put yourself in the path of the horse's escape. In other words, don't put the horse between you and the object that may scare her. If she decides she can't handle the fear and decides to run, you should not be in the direct path of escape where you'd be run down by the horse. Use common sense. I started out using nothing but my hand. I touch her all over, including up between her legs, under her tail, around her ears, examine her teeth, and put my fingers in her mouth, sliding them over the bars of her jaw, touching her tongue. I talk about this in my video, Simple Groundwork Exercises Part 1. I then move on to a simple lunge whip with no string. I start rubbing her all over with it. I pay a special attention up under her tail. I move the whip in a sawing motion when it is there. If someday a rope slips up there, I don't want it to be the first time she feels something there. With perfect timing, I would remove the pressure of the whip under her tail before she makes any response. That way she'd learn that the response I'm looking for is no response. She hasn't offered to move from this pressure yet, so when she does move, I leave the whip in place, making the sawing motion until she stops. I still want her to respect the whip as an extension of my arm. When I drive her with it, this is the beginning of being able to differentiate between a cue and a meaningless motion. I've talked about this in my previous videos. She is still a little uncomfortable with the whip going under her tail. I will continue to work with this, using the principles I've already outlined until I get a consistent improvement. way she'd know that waving the whip was a cue would be that I'd show her where I'd want her to go by raising my other arm. When I start flagging her, I would want her to already be desensitized to the whip waving around. It just makes it easier for her to adjust to the flag. I next move on to the coiled lariat. I try to make each object progressively more challenging. In reality, I don't know which is more challenging to the horse, the lunge whip or the rope. I had previously worked with the lunge whip, but not the lariat, so I went to it after the whip. I rub her all over her body with the rope. Let's listen to the music of the wind for a moment while we watch. I start throwing the lariat on the ground. I want her not to react to things dropped. You never know when you'll drop things around a horse. I move on to the flag. Ember has been exposed to the flag once before. She is not worried about it at all. I start by holding the flag itself so that it's not flapping around. Like I said, I like to progressively make it more challenging. I rub her all over her body with the flag wadded up in my hand. To demonstrate what to do with a horse that is a little more uncomfortable with things than Ember, I'll switch over to Nina. Nina is an 11-year-old grade mare. She is pony size. We call her our mini Clydesdale. We got her from a horse rescue and she has a known history of abuse. The abuse is not speculation. She is not near as trusting of humans as Ember. Nina has been flagged on multiple times in the past. In this clip, I've gone through all the same steps you've seen me do with Ember. As the clip starts, I had already rubbed her with the flag on the onside. Now you see me rubbing her on the offside. When I go back to the onside, she decides she cannot stand still any longer and starts moving. I continue the pressure of rubbing her with the flag. In this case, the response I'm looking for is the horse to quiet down and stand still. I make the wrong thing difficult and the right thing easy by bending her head around and having her step over on the hind end the whole time she is moving. While she is looking for the response, I keep rubbing her with the flag. I don't try to force her to stand still. I wait for her to find the correct response. As soon as she finds the place I'm looking for, I release her head and quit petting her with the flag. You'll see this in a lot of horses. They have become more resistant on the onside than on the offside. That is because humans tend to spend a great deal of more time on the onside than on the offside, giving the horse plenty of practice resisting on that side. I like to lead a horse off after I get the correct response to let them relax a little. You could also let them stand for a few seconds while you relax so that they know they have made the correct choice. It lets the concept sink in a little. Now that she is starting to be able to stand when the flag is touching her, I rub her for a second or two after she has stopped moving. I'll increase the amount of time that I rub her with the flag as I continue repeating the exercise. I try to stop rubbing before she moves so that she understands I'm not asking her to move. This develops my feel, timing, and balance, as was discussed in the video Elements of Horsemanship, Part 2. I didn't seem to be making any forward progress, so I went back further and stopped rubbing so far back and started rubbing at the shoulder again. Watch as I continue to flag her using the concepts we've already talked about. I'll play some music until I need to make another comment. As you can see, she is starting to make some good improvements. I continued flagging her for a while after this. I just wanted people to see how I handled a situation where the horse was nervous about the flag and needed some time. Now we'll go back to the exercise with Ember. At this point with her, I let the flag flap and hold the end of the whip. This is an incremental increase in the challenge of remaining calm with the flag. I rub her with the flapping flag all over her body, starting at her front left shoulder. Until the horse has gotten to the point of near perfection with these exercises, you should never put the horse in a position where you can't give it release if things start going badly. It's far better to give release before the horse has earned it than to have a wreck. You'll also note that I placed the flag over the horse's back so that I've effectively put the horse between me and the challenge object. I only do this briefly to make sure the horse can handle it. As I build trust with the horse, I will continue to increase this time. When I'm in the saddle doing things, there will be times that the horse faces challenges on both sides. I want her to be good at facing those challenges before I'm on her. Once I'm sure she can handle the flag being rubbed all over her body, I start aggressively waving it around her. Someday I may need to flag another horse or some cattle from in the saddle, and I want her to be good with it. As I lead her around, I wave the flag back and forth close to the ground. Horses gain courage from things that appear to be moving away from them when they move towards the thing. I also want her to be able to handle the challenge when she is walking. Like I said before, I want her to be able to distinguish between a cue and a random pressure. The cue to move forward is accompanied with a signal in what direction to move. A random pressure has no accompanying direction to go. This pretty much completes the demonstration for today. I will probably go through these same exercises one more time before I introduce her to a full-size tarp. Once she has been sacked out with the tarp, a saddle blanket will be less of a challenge. Since I don't plan on riding her until early summer, I have plenty of time to introduce her to many other challenges and exercises. If you find these videos helpful, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell. Leave a comment if you want to add something or have a question or correction. If you know someone who you think would find these videos interesting, please share it with them. Thank you for watching.